This video is brought to you by Scream 6. Get tickets now.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at the top 10 scariest horror movie locations found in New York City.
You don't understand, there is a maniac trying to kill us. Welcome to New York.
For this list, we'll be looking at some of the most notable real-life locations found in scary movies set in the Big Apple. Keep in mind, there will be some mild spoilers for the scenes in question. What's your favorite New York-based horror movie? Scream about it in the comments. Number 10, Cleveland Diner. Chud. We're kicking things off with a campy cult classic. This film, whose title stands for Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers, was filmed all over New York City back in 1984. One location that's proven popular for movie sightseers is the Cleveland Diner, where the third act kicks off in violent fashion.
What'll it be, boys?
Rare cheeseburger and a Coke. Same here.
Coming up.
In the film, two police officers, one of whom is played by a young John Goodman, get attacked and brutally killed by the titular mutants.
Shouldn't you boys be on duty somewhere?
Nowadays, the Cleveland Diner is known as La Esquina, a Mexican restaurant on Kenmare Street, one of the chain's 3 locations in the city. Let's just hope the Chuds haven't taken over the kitchen, though. Number 9, Alley at Nassau Street. American Psycho.
Hello. Pat Bateman. You want some, money? Some food?
One of the most New York horror movies out there, American Psycho may surprise you insofar as it was almost entirely shot in Toronto, Ontario. But they did shoot exterior shots and outdoor scenes in the Big Apple, including Patrick Bateman's horrifying encounter with a homeless man.
You got a negative attitude. That's what's stopping you. You gotta get your act together. I'll help you.
You are so kind, mister. You're kind. You're a kind man.
It's okay.
In the scene, Patrick takes out his frustrations on a kind man on the streets named Al, played by the late, great Reg E. Cathey.
I'm sorry. Just I don't have anything in common with you.
Patrick sardonically berates Al before killing him, though hopefully this is all in his mind. This alleyway on Nassau Street has since been covered with scaffolding, but it doesn't change how little we'd like to run into Patrick Bateman there. Number 8, 10 Montague Terrace, The Sentinel.
That's Father Heron in 5A. He's been here for years. He's a priest. He's kind of senile. He just sits by the window. He's blind.
Something of a combination of our last 2 films, this cult classic follows a young model named Allison who moves into a brownstone apartment building, only to learn that it serves as a gateway to hell. A host of terrifying happenings ensue, which could definitely taint your impression of the building in real life. Also located in Brooklyn Heights, the brownstone is known as 10 Montague Terrace in the real world. The building gets demolished at the end of the film, but you'll be happy to know that it's still there as of this day. Though we suppose the real question is if it's actually a gateway to hell, to which we say, probably not.
Abandon hope, all ye who wish the entrance to hell.
Number 7, Times Square. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, gets a lot of flack for not fully making good on the second part of its title. Indeed, most of the action takes place on a ship, and a bulk of the scenes that do take place in New York were filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia, as the former is rather expensive. However, one sequence that was shot in Manhattan is the Times Square scene, where Jason Voorhees pursues our remaining protagonists and intimidates some local riffraff.
You a dead meat slime bag! Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
While Times Square has been cleaned up considerably since the back half of the 20th century, it still makes for an appropriate horror setting where people aren't as liable to take threats from an undead slasher seriously.
Son of a bitch.
Number 6. Brooklyn Museum, Joshua.
What you looking at?
Seth. He's the god of chaos.
This underseen psychological thriller follows a couple as they struggle to raise their son Joshua, a 9-year-old child prodigy who begins exhibiting sociopathic behavior. In one scene, Joshua is accompanied to the Brooklyn Museum with his grandmother Hazel, whom he thoroughly creeps out with his knowledge of Egyptian gods.
If Apep swallowed you, you become nothing, a non-being. Till the end of existence, you'd remain in Apep's guts, slowly digested for all of eternity, and nobody would care because nobody would realize you were missing.
The scene was filmed both inside and outside of the actual building. While we'd recommend the art museum for anyone with a keen eye, just be sure to avoid any sharp-dressed little boys acting as tour guides. And be sure not to stand next to them at the top of any flight of stairs, else you meet the same fate as Hazel.
You gave me such a fright!
Number 5. Central Park, Various. One of the most famous public parks in the world, Manhattan's Central Park has naturally become a go-to filming location for movies set in New York City, and horror movies are no different. From as far back as 1942's Cat People, the genre has made bedfellows with the park, with that film setting pivotal scenes at the Central Park Zoo. Flash forward to 1983's The Hunger, and you'll see David Bowie's vampire character attack a dancing woman at Bethesda Terrace. Then, the 2008 monster movie Cloverfield sees some of our main characters perish there in the finale, with the final two taking shelter underneath the crumbling gray-shot arch.
Approximately 7 hours ago, something attacked the city. I don't know what it is. If you found this tape, if you're watching this right now, then you probably know more about it than I do.
Number 4. The Roosevelt Hotel, 1408.
Well, if I can just get the key to 1408, I can get out of your hair.
Oh, we were thinking of upgrading you to a penthouse suite.
1408, please.
It's no surprise that they couldn't use the real name of a hotel in this movie about a haunted room on the technical 13th floor. While filming for this Stephen King adaptation was split between 3 cities, the exterior of the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan portrayed the fictional Dolphin Hotel in the movie. Meanwhile, the Reform Club in London, England doubled as the Dolphin's lobby, while sound stages were used for scenes set in 1408 itself. While the Roosevelt only had a small part in creating the vibe, it nevertheless got much of the credit for sightseeing fans. Unfortunately, the Roosevelt closed in 2020 due to financial struggles stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 3. New York City subway system, Various. Even more than Central Park, horror movies set in New York can't help but adventure into the subway, even if they don't often film there. Maniac ushered in the slasher craze in 1980 with a particularly harrowing sequence in the subway system, and Jason wouldn't be too far behind at the end of the decade. Jacob's Ladder would open the 90s by also taking the titular character into the subway, and Guillermo del Toro's Mimic would only stoke the fears of what subterranean creepy crawlies lurked below New Yorkers' feet in 1997. 2023's Scream VI has Ghostface taking Manhattan like Jason before him, proving you never know what to expect when stepping onto the terminal. Heck, your subway car might even turn into an escape room.
Guys, I found the machine ladder!
Number 2. 55 Central Park West, Ghostbusters. Granted, Ghostbusters is more remembered for its comedy elements than its horror, but that doesn't mean it doesn't get thoroughly spooky when it wants to. While we were tempted to talk about Tavern on the Green, where Lewis gets possessed by a demon, or the Alexander Hamilton U.S. Custom House, which doubles as the Manhattan Museum of Art in the sequel, there's no beating Spook Central.
The whole building is a huge superconductive antenna that was designed and built expressly for the purpose of pulling in and concentrating spiritual turbulence. Your girlfriend lives in the corner penthouse of Spook Central.
Known officially as 55 Central Park West, this is where Sigourney Weaver's character Dana lives, and where lots of strange goings-on occur. While the temple-esque rooftop obviously isn't there in real life, the building still gives us much the same spooky vibes.
Are you a god?
No.
Then...
Number 1. The Dakota, Rosemary's Baby. Perhaps no real-life building is more synonymous with horror than the Dakota.
I don't believe you. You're both lying. You're lying. It didn't die. You took it.
Completed in 1884, this Upper West Side apartment building served as the new home for Guy and Rosemary Woodhouse in Roman Polanski's horror classic Rosemary's Baby.
Clara Louise, this is Guy's wife, Rosemary.
Hello, Rosemary. Welcome to the Bram.
Referred to as the Bramford in the movie, the Dakota instantly stands out thanks to its Victorian architecture. While interior scenes were shot at the Paramount lot in Hollywood, the building's presence here only added to its notoriety. It's housed numerous celebrities over the years, including Lauren Bacall, John Lennon, Boris Karloff, and Judy Garland. Though no malicious Satanists as far as we know.
Hail Adrian! Hail Adrian! Satan! Hail Satan!
This video is brought to you by Scream VI. Get tickets now.